Toyota's domination of Rally Islas Canarias is broken, sort of. It's no longer a 1-2-3-4-5, but a 1-2-3-4 David Evans.
What a rubbish day that
I
is,
know,
isn't it?
terrible.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Terrible for them. But before we get into all of that, welcome, of course, to our coverage. I am Luke Barry. This is David Evans, and we are at the end of the second day of Rally Islas Canarias. We did, though, see our first mistakes creep in on the rally. Gregoire Munster, on the penultimate stage of today, effectively outbraked himself and just went too hot into a corner. He told us in the media zone something quite interesting. So actually, let's go to that first before we discuss it.
Yeah, so basically we're still trying to push, gather information over the setup and so on. Otherwise, not much used to just cruising through, and I tried to delay a bit my braking, a bit too much, of course, and went over the potential of the tire, started to lock up, and then just went straight in that corner. Lucky we didn't hit that tree, and then that there were some spectators to help us back on the road, because the kilometers that we did now and that we will do tomorrow are crucial.
We know, David, that it's been a difficult rally for M Sport up until now. I guess this is just the cherry on top of the bad cake, as it were. I made a new analogy
rotten
there.
Cherry on top of the bad cake. Look, when you're in the position that they're in, you've got to try things. You've got to experiment, and I mean, almost there's not much to lose. Yeah, you don't want to put the car into the trees, and he was quite fortunate that he sort of threaded that Puma through a Puma-shaped gap between the two trees. But yeah, he's given it a go, isn't he? You know, he's trying different setups and trying different settings, and was caught out. It can happen, you know. Ultimately, this is still a very, very tricky event.
Yeah, we mentioned Sammy Pajari as well. He was the other driver to go off, but perhaps with bigger consequences, given Munster was ninth, but Sammy was in an impressive fourth place. David, this one is maybe more of a classic just driving mistake, but he's paid quite a heavy price for it. Yeah,
it is difficult for Sammy. You know, he's had... Okay, Safari was good, fourth, but a slightly indifferent start to the season where you get to this point and you think Tarmac Rally would be good to bag some experience, and we saw him crash in CER at the end of last year. So, yeah, it's not ideal. And for the team, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, we kind of joked about it at the beginning. That was... 1, 2, 3, 4 is fantastic. There's no denying that's an epic result if they can bag that tomorrow afternoon. But, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is record equaling. You know, that's something that, what was it, 1990 or something with Lancia in Portugal. You know, these things come around once in a generation.
So you looked up the stat?
No, I looked on our server and I read the brilliant story written by Alistair Lindsay highlighting that stat.
Okay,
but yeah, I mean, it's kind of that, it's that magnificent a result that it is once in a generation, and to have landed that would have been something epic. So yeah, Sammy has cost them that result, that opportunity. So yeah, you know, he's not going to go to bed a happy man tonight. He'll be back tomorrow, take more experience, move on. But yeah, tough one today.
I guess the other thing to consider, and in reality, how much of an effect is it going to be, because Toyota are ahead of all of the Hyundais, but with Sammy registers as a TGR WRT2, I've got that right, driver. Obviously, that's not counting towards Toyota's actual manufacturer tally, but he's now giving Hyundai a few more
points away from it. Would have taken points away from
so again,
Hyundai.
the Toyota are going to score big if it finishes as it stands, but you never know what we saw last year.
Yeah.
Just how important these points can be. So that's the other thing that I think is interesting to consider. But of course, we've skirted around it long enough. Rovanpera. When, David, is he going to get beaten to a stage win here?
Well, we are recording before the final stage, 13, stage 13 through the basketball court. It might be then. It might have happened. Bear with us. But just another utterly sublime day. You know, he's found that flow. We talked about it at lunchtime. The fact that when you get the car into that flow, from the first stage, Cali was on it. It clicked, everything worked. He got the tyre to the right temperature. It's got the tyre working, got the car in sync with everything. You know, he's not loading the tyre overly to bring too much heat into the tyre. It's all perfect. And when you're in that position, everything becomes kind of second nature. And you can see that with him now. He's relaxed, the shoulders are relaxed. He's opened the shoulders and he's just driving the car. And as much as it comes naturally when you're in that position, when you're not in that position, we've seen the likes of Josh and Greg at M Sport, you kind of, and of course the Hyundais, you're kind of fighting against it. You're trying to find everything in the corner. You know, Cali's coming into the corners and driving through them. it's very serene for him. And he's talking about not pushing hard. And we're like, we really believe in that. What he actually means is it's coming naturally, and he's not having to put the car at 10 tenths to get all of this speed. He's not stressing the car. He's driving beautifully. This is classic Kalle Rovanpera.
For tomorrow, the points are super important, so we just need to continue the same way in the morning, see where we are, and if we can continue to take good points, we have to do that.
Are you surprised that you've been so far ahead of everybody else?
Yeah, I would say it's a bit surprised that the gaps are so big, but then like today afternoon, I feel like there is not much to gain anymore. Like I said, I was super happy with everything. I think the driving is pretty good, so yeah, I think we have done a pretty good job.
I think on this form it's going to be very hard to see anyone other than Kalle Rovanpera scoring all 10 points tomorrow. And it turns out I'm not the only one who thinks that.
At the moment, there is no sign that Kalle will give any point to anybody this weekend, but if we can catch something right behind him, that will be best for the team. It's been fun. I was also happy with the adjustment we kept making on the car during the weekend, and I think the balance suits me better and better now. So I think, now we need to carry on tomorrow as Sunday points are important, and they will be needed to basically confirm the domination that we had as a team this weekend.
Ogier is second place overnight, 45.7 seconds down on Rovanpera, but equally 23 seconds ahead of Elfyn Evans. That gap has extended over the course of the day. Can Evans catch Ogier?
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
think so.
Doesn't matter. Forget it. The big one for me tomorrow is what does Elfyn do on Sunday? That's a real risk, isn't it? He's got potentially he's going to bank the points for third. How much does he risk? We know Toyota doesn't do team orders, but if Toyota did do team orders, you might want to have a word and just tell the other boys just to wind it back a little bit. Leave Kalle, leave Elfyn, let them fight out the big points. For me, that would be sensible. But you can't really see Thierry, Adrian, Oit getting on that kind of pace. Toyota wasn't super switched on to that whole Sunday aspect. They are now. I think, it is a big decision that Elfyn's got to make about Sunday.
You mentioned Hyundai, but I think there's another difference there as well, because it feels like this is a rally where they've done, I guess, badly in terms of result. But actually, if you look at it on paper, it's 5, 6, 7. It's hardly brilliant. But it's not like they've got a driver outside of the overall top 10 that can literally just risk it all with nothing to lose. No. They cannot, and they're going to, as it stands, lose a lot of points to Toyota already. They cannot lose any more. I know they've got the 3 cars together, so maybe could one of them, perhaps Adrian, go for it a bit more? Say. Yeah, potentially.
But equally, what we do know from the last 2 days is that Adrian has the car that's set up best.
Yes.
Most sympathetically for these roads. So maybe he's the one you want to be pushing ahead and tell Tanak or Thierry to absolutely go for it.
Fomo is in 5th place, we should stress as well, ahead of his two mates, Neuville and Tanak. But before we move on from Hyundai, David, we've been able to find out a little bit more, I guess, about these setup struggles and why one car, Fomo's, is better set up than the others.
Yeah, it's all to do with the transmission, the differential, the gearbox. Obviously, these parts are all linked to the cars. The pre-event test, the drivers select which transmission they want. The transmission has a massive effect on the way the car works. And from what we understand, the transmission differential, crucially, that Adrian's got in his car, that Fomo's got, it's slightly more open diff. So that there's more feeling in the car under braking and under acceleration, crucially through the corners. The Thierry's car and Oit's car, it'll be stiffer, and under braking it'll be more snatchy. So it's just as I said, it's a more sympathetic car to drive in these conditions. So you'd say, well, why didn't Thierry and Oit select this setup? They didn't test in these super dry conditions. So it's a gamble to take a transmission setup that you're not entirely sure it's going to work. It's a compromise all the time. You've got to have a car that will work. If the rain comes, potentially their car wouldn't have worked so well. That's exactly what it is. It's a compromise, and it's worked more in Adrian's favour. But, as much as we talk about this, and we talked to Oit about it, and Oit kind of pointed out, but it's not that kind of magic bullet, is it? It's not like Fomo's right on the tail of the Toyotas. He's still half a second or so off them. So there is a lot of work to do with that Hyundai.
In 4th place overnight is Takamoto Katsuta, the 4th of those high-flying Toyotas. He's had a confidence-building day, steadily building himself up after what happened last time out in Kenya.
Yeah, of course, it's a big shame for Sammy that, sorry for him. He was very, very good job whole weekend, and pace was very, very good. Also, that was not even a mistake, a very, very small thing, cost a lot. So, yeah, I really feel him, but I need to find a bit more, let's say, comfortable with a bit more better pace, but so far, nothing to do too much. I think now just try to build my confidence to get more better for next Portugal and also Sardinia, because this is maybe quite important for my, let's say, full season like strategy. So I just need to focus for that.
Johan Rossell continues to lead in WRC2 in that Citroen C3. He's gained about 1.5 seconds so far over Alejandro Cachon. It's really not a lot of time between the two.
Nicely done.
Yeah, thank you. There is actually a reason why I've learned how to do that. Thank you for the comments, though. Even though I joked that I didn't actually want to receive, I was happy with how I was saying it. It was wrong. Alejandro pointed that out to me, and you can check that out up here. But David, is this Rossell's rally to lose now with that kind of buffer?
I guess it is. Yeah, and you just got to take your hat off to Cachon. He's driven brilliantly. And to be where he is, it's a great effort. And equally, does he even want to throw that position away? You know, he's got a huge amount to lose. So, yeah, it's been a tremendous battle. But Rossell is the magician, isn't he, on tarmac? And it's great to see. So, yeah, I'm sure still plenty to come through Sunday, though.
Now, as David referenced, there is still one more stage to go at the time of recording, and you can see the hordes of fans who are piling into the stage already. I'm being ushered to move out of the way so we can see the crowds. It's amazing, David. We've seen it all weekend long, just how many spectators there are at this rally. This is the ultimate proof of it.
We saw it always at in Salou on the mainland, and to see it here, tremendous. And you know, really good, well-behaved spectators out on the stages. That's what we need to see. You never know what you're going to get with a new event. I think credit to the FAA, the way that the safety delegates have worked and done their job. It's been great, and definitely, it's kind of strange, isn't it? We came here expecting this massive challenge, huge potential carnage that we talked about, and we've seen, you know, a couple of cars go off with some sort of silly mistakes today, but otherwise nothing, you know. But I think anybody that thinks that this has been quite processional, Kalle Rovanpera winning every stage so far, you could think that on paper, but actually watch the action. You know, just watch these cars being fired down these super narrow lanes. It's tremendous. It's been, so far, you know, still got a day to go. It's been a great event.
Yeah, I would agree, David. I think it's been a brilliant event so far, but not everything is great. I've got a problem. I want to be a rally driver. I want to become a better driver on the road as well. What do I do?
You go straight to Dirtfish Rally School in Snoqualmie, Washington. We have got everything from a half day to a 3-day in a Subaru BRZ and a Subaru WRX. Everything is there, everything that you need, even you, Luke Barry, to become a prime rally driver. We're absolutely ready and waiting. Head straight to drive.dirtfish.com, get yourself booked in, and we'll see you there.
I look forward to it just as much as I look forward to Sunday's action here in Gran Canaria. 5 stages left to conclude the action, including one around a go-kart track, which could be quite entertaining indeed. Let us know in the comments section below who you think is going to take control of this rally tomorrow. Who will score all of the 10 Sunday points? Can anyone do anything about Kalle Rovanpera? Dirtfish is the place to find out all the answers.